Nope.
Hey, it's Dan Blewett. Today we're going to talk about the forearm training for baseball, which is for me, my ex Tommy John Rehab. Basic movements of the forearm. There's 6 different directions: forearm, wrist flexion, wrist extension, pronation, supination, radial deviation, and ulnar deviation. Those are the big 6. Any variations, any movements are sort of variations thereof. So I'm going to show you 2 different ways to do it. You can do it, number 1, with a band. I prefer a flat TheraBand to a piece of tubing. I think tubing is pretty uncomfortable. But you can also do it with dumbbells, a hammer, or a bat. Anything that's kind of end-loaded, bat or hammer, and then you need a dual end-loaded dumbbell. So number 1. So you're going to do a couple exercises on each side of your leg. So with the TheraBand, with the flat band, you want to pull it up, I say no more higher than knee height, because you don't need any more than knee height. And really you're going to kind of go probably in the middle of your shin. So for wrist flexion, you're going to grab the band in there. You're going to make sure you have about a 6-inch overhang. Keep your forearm flat. I like to have everyone just hold their forearm down. Curl all the way up and all the way back slowly. All the way up and back slowly. So yeah, that's wrist flexion. Okay. So after that, you're going to grab the band. Afterwards, you're going to show your palm away from your body. Grab the band. Really the most complicated thing with all these is just how to grip the band. Everyone, until they've learned a couple times, they get it going the wrong side out of their hand. And so it's really just band placement is important. So again, grab it this way, palm away, grab it in the middle so it's flowing out of your wrist. This is wrist pronation. You're going to curl up, turn your hand over and back, over and back, nice and slow. Okay. Pronation is one that you can do with a bat or with a hammer, again, because it's end-loaded. So you get it right here, let it go down as far as you can go, and come up. Okay. Now, when you get to the top, the bat's not going to be as good of a choice as the band, because you're going to lose resistance as you get up here, because now gravity's not pushing, gravity pushing through the bat instead of through the bat this way, which is giving you torque. Here you're losing that torque. So the band's kind of the preferable choice coming up with pronation, but you're pretty good through most of the range of the motion until you get about, I'd say about 30 degrees from the top. Okay. So forearm flexion, quick review with the band right here, or with a dumbbell, the exact same way. Okay. So just like that, pronation, palm away, band's flowing out on the thumb side, turning over and back, or you can use the hammer or the baseball bat, again the same direction, out and up. So it's flexion and pronation. Those are the first 2 that you'll do. After that, you'll take the band on the other side of your leg, so stretch it again, no higher than knee height. This time you're going to have your palm towards the inside of your knee, that direction. You're going to pull it over top, 6 inches of overhang. This is wrist extension. Allow your wrist to go in as far as you can. I have really good wrist range of motion, so you're probably not going as far as mine. Curl all the way up and back down. All the way up and back down. That's wrist flexion. If you were to do it with a dumbbell, same thing. Here to here. Nice and slow back, and then all the way up. Okay. And then on that side, we're going to do supination. So again, palm towards your knee, just like that. Band's flowing out on your thumb side again with the palm down. This is wrist supination. You're going to turn it up. Make sure it goes across your wrist. You don't want to do this where it flops out like that. You don't get any resistance. So make sure, again, this is why you want to have your forearm out. 1, to get full range of motion with your wrist so you're not banging your knee, but 2, to make sure it can easily flow over your fingers and give you resistance through the whole range of motion. Again, the band is preferable because it's going to give you more resistance throughout the whole range of motion than with the hammer on pronation or supination. So the hammer or the bat right here, come all the way up, but again, I'm losing resistance as I get about to 30 degrees, not getting a whole lot in this end range. So go down and come up. That's supination. Then we're going to do, so again, grab the same way, we're going to do ulnar deviation. So this is your, radial deviation. This is your radius bone coming up, deviating away from it. So again, with this, you're going to grab the band just like you did for flexion and supination. You're going to allow it to come over your fingers, over your knuckles. You're going to pull up and back down, up and back down. Now, you can do radial deviation with a band, which I like. It also gives you a little bit of instability because the band's kind of wobbly as compared to the dumbbell. You can do it with the dumbbell. And if you do, I like to grab it close to the bottom, more the gap on the top. And the dumbbell's preferable because, again, if we're using the bat, and I'll show you in a second, we're going to lose resistance at the end at the top range of motion. Whereas this, we're curling here to the first half, and then we're pushing the bottom half away, which allows us to give pretty steady resistance throughout the whole range in radial deviation. With the bat, it's not so. So I really don't like this one for that because I'm getting good range, I'm getting good resistance here. The higher I go up, I have literally nothing all the way up here. So I'm really not getting the end range resistance with the bat. Because you can see I'm sort of tossing it behind myself. It's very momentum. That's why we need the bottom of the dumbbell. We're pushing that away as this starts to lose momentum on the top. So for radial deviation, grab it away, coming over your fingers, curl up and back. The this bulging muscle here, right here, the brachioradialis, is one of the prime movers on this exercise. And then, again, we prefer the dumbbell to a hammer for radial deviation if you're going to do it without a band. And then the last one we're going to do is ulnar deviation, which I don't prefer with the band. This is the only one I don't prefer with the band. I'll show you why. You're going to grab this one again. You're going to grab it with a thumbs up grip, and you're going to pull it back. So this is your ulna, your other forearm bone, pulling it back and allowing it to go back down. This one I just don't like the feel of the band. I think the range of motion is not nearly as good as if I'm using a hammer or a bat down here. Because this way we're getting resistance the whole range of motion with the bat or the hammer. And I think it's a much better exercise than with the band. But if you don't have the, if you're going only band or only implements, it's fine. That's a decent choice for this. It's a little bit light, depending on your age and your strength level. You could add a bat weight to it, or whatever. You just want to keep your forearm stable down, nice and slow both ways as far as this will go. Okay. So that's the 6-way forearm series. That's the foundation of Tommy John Rehab, and thus really the foundation of strengthening your hands, your forearms, keeping your elbow joint nice and strong and tight to prevent elbow injury.